Well, my name is Macy Morden. I'm 26 years old. The first time I was exposed to drugs, I was about 15. I was really turned off by alcohol when I was 12. I thought, if this is how people act when they're drunk, I want nothing to do with it. When I was 15, I found marijuana. And it was great because, everybody's laughing, we're all engaging with each other, nobody's making fun of anybody, so that's when I got more tied in. I didn't start drinking until I was about 18, 19. I felt like it was my mental health that led to everything. I could not stand not fitting in. I felt, there's it's the FOMO, like the fear of missing out. Well, having really bad anxiety and really bad depression, I found that I was starting to self-medicate with it. So it was not dealing with not dealing with my anxieties, what was going on in my head. It made me feel even more alienated from my family. So I would find myself having to leave family events early just so I could isolate. Some of my friends always kind of hinted that they knew something was going on with me, but they never full out said, I think you have a problem and you need to go get help. But I think that's just the fear of they don't know how I'm going to react and if I'm going to completely push them away. Because I caused so much fear in them, talking about my depression, my suicidal thoughts, and just how I just couldn't stand myself. I dabbled in cocaine, I've done ecstasy and mushrooms. I think addiction it affects everything, but the most was just my self-worth and how I saw myself, how I felt about myself. I didn't want to do anything. I started sleeping for 18 hours a day, getting up, going to work, coming home. I wasn't eating, I wasn't functioning, I wasn't living. My lowest point was 8 months ago. I suffered a really bad skin infection, which most of my family, aside from my mom, thought was all drug-induced. So I was in the hospital, no one came to visit me, no one contacted me to see if I was okay. And I just basically got to the point where I don't know what I'm living for, I don't even know what my skills are, I don't know what I'm good at, if I'm ever going to be anything. And it was just basically my using just got out of control because that was the only thing that was quieting that voice in my head. And it was my boss who actually sat me down, told me his story, and told me I needed to get help. He told me that I was eventually going to commit suicide, which little did he know I was carrying around my sleeping pills everywhere with me, and I always made sure I had more than 20. This treatment center I went to, it introduced me to a bunch of people who are going through the exact same thing as me. It doesn't matter whether they're using meth, crack, heroin, or just coming in for pot. It's what is going on in our heads and why we feel we need to use to function in life. So it's really dangerous to just, go in and expect a pill to fix everything, because it's not, it only delays the problem. Really, I found that talking about it and meditating really helps you clear your head and get a better grip on things. Everybody thinks it's not going to happen to them, or I don't understand, my family doesn't go through it, but there's lots of people who, have normal lives that you wouldn't expect to go through such, terrifying events and come out great on the other side. I was unwilling to admit that I had a problem, and I was still stuck on, it's my depression, it's my anxiety, but that doesn't go away with using. You have to learn how to deal with it and how to cope with it. My depression and my anxiety is never going to go away, but it's way more manageable now than it was when I was 15. And I started having depression and anxiety when I was in grade 7, so it's been a really long time to not deal with it in a healthy way. We all need to be there for each other because you can't do it alone.